Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says government's decision to exempt pension funds from the debt exchange program will come at a cost. Government designed the program to reduce Ghana's debt burden by 137 billion cedis in 15 years to pave way for an IMF executive board approval. The exemption means government may fail to meet its debt reduction target. Mr. Ofori-Atta says they are exploring other options.
As you know, on December 13th, we signed this historic staff-level agreement with the fund, which brought a sense of stability. Yesterday, as you know, until 4:30 a.m., Parliament passed appropriation and the budget, further bringing confidence as to where we are going. So, of course, the threat of a strike will not have inured to the spirit of the direction of where the nation is going. Obviously, the issue of exempting pension funds from it is at a cost, and we have committed government and labor, organized labor, to work together to ensure that we find means of plugging a hole that should ensure that we return to the 55% threshold. And I think that we are all committed to, because we know it's important to lead us to a board agreement so that we continue with the success that we have. But really, in the spirit of Christmas and the partnership that we have, we want to thank everybody who participated in this on the way forward. The government has done its part with the SLA. Parliament came through very strongly yesterday with the SLA, and Labour today is also showing an accommodation not only to receive the exemptions, but to also work to make sure that we restore to debt sustainability. And we thank you for that.
Meanwhile, organized labor has called off its nationwide strike scheduled for the 27th of December after government agreed to exempt all pension funds from the controversial debt exchange program. The exemption was announced by Employment Minister Ignatius Bafwewa after a meeting with the Trades Union Congress.
This is a memorandum of understanding dated today, Thursday, 22nd December 2022. Following meetings held at the Ministry of Finance in December 2022 between Government of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of National Security on the one hand, and organized labor stroke associations represented by leadership of all labor unions stroke associations on the other hand, to resolve issues on the exemptions of all pension funds in the domestic debt exchange program announced by government on the 5th of December 2022. Government has decided to grant exemption to all pension funds in the domestic debt exchange program, and government and organized labor will, however, work together to explore mutually beneficial options within debt sustainability limits and to also promote microeconomic stability and economic recovery in the spirit of social partnership. Signed, Ignatius Bafwewa, Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Ken Ofori-Atta, Minister of Finance, Anthony Yaba, Doctor, Secretary General, Trades Unions Congress, Ghana for Organized Labor Stroke Associations.
Both the Ghana Medical Association, National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, say they will fully comply. The Chamber of Corporate Trustees, which represents pension funds, has also welcomed the exemption. Thomas Iso is Executive Secretary.
Averagely, 85% of Ghanaians contribute about 150 Ghana cedis a month to their pension funds, and therefore these contributors can also qualify as vulnerables. So for the Chamber of Corporate Trustees and Organized Labor, the news to exempt pension funds totally from the death assistance program is a welcome news, and we know that this news is to ensure that Ghanaians one day when they go on retirement will have some level of income security to have a certain level of standard of living in their retirement.
Rice farmers in the BMSO #1 and the Ahafo are not southeast district of the Ashanti region are resisting attempts by illegal miners to ravage their over 300-acre farmlands, but their resolve to push out the illegal miners and safeguard some local rice seeds appears bleak. A mini dam serving as an irrigation source to their farms is now polluted with heavy illegal mining slurry impacting adversely on their farm produce. Emmanuel Bright-Kweko visited the farming community and has come through with this report.
A huge illegal mining pit is dug in the middle of a 300-acre rice plantation catered by over 80 farmers at BMSO #1. The illegal mining activity is happening right behind the home of the Member of Parliament for Ahafo North South constituency. Unprovoked by the devastations caused, the illegal miners continue to invade other parts of the rice farms. Mahama Moro and his colleagues have been working on the farmland for over 22 years.
Solar panel, solar and twins who made good hazards. So, then you know, what it will go more than Galaxy for a bomb than come a hope assassins and yet Sasibia Heke. I say, I say, so am I a Juma from the year 2000. So, until we had done this, we will cry. I'm the seed on my. I'm glad I was at 2. Galam say, I see for the say, Galam say, if a moose can't miss dying. Residents
of BMSO #1 are well known for their involvement in both rice and maize farming, positioned as the second largest rice production hub in the Ashanti region. The farmers here grow a variety of local rice seeds. They depend heavily on the BM stream running through their plantations for farming activities.
This mini dam was constructed under the S.Y.Alcofor administration. That is according to the farmers over here. It was constructed for irrigation purposes. But unfortunately, the crystal clear water has turned into a milky brown sludge.
The highly polluted water has forced farmers to shut down the irrigation canal, distributing water across their farms. Maize and paddy rice plants along the stream are dying out as a result.
President Vice President Baumia Obedi, President Speaker of Parliament Bembabe Okahon, MPs, Assemblyman Committee for will be a bedi munibi. And so the part says Ghana, you are not doing it to Okoka, say you pay for.
The government's efforts of making the country self-sufficient in rice producing is now threatened as production on the farmlands are depreciating.
Then I say you don't 2 times. And I'm saying soon say na say time and soon to rain season I don't know say yentiminsa no bi. She said next year. And you bet me as I do if you be ama a more stock was yenya.
Mitimi twa mo no almost be 120 bars. This year, galamsey for no buy no. Mo am twa nyina 18 bars. 18 bars me so makogi bosia wa amano bank. As is your interest a dem anim no. Enya sem koto wo be 100 million. Isi am fa kwa be so na akutuaka. Amo no de mi twa mitimi nya bi tua me ka na skani bia yeden aka me botomi nya bi hwe me ma school.
Many of these farmers are currently out of business, but the few ones struggling for water source are resorting to domestic sources to irrigate and apply fertilizer on their farms.
Drone the old body, a quiet chiricacra. Now, Nkwale, and Suya, ya do board, almost quite fee, near the board drew a hand.
These farmers at BMSO number 1 have their source of livelihood on the line as the faceless illegal miners continue to ravage their lands. For JoyNews, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reporting.
People killed through road traffic crashes from January to November stands at approximately 2,171 nationwide, with the Ashanti region contributing over 400 to the disturbing numbers. The figure represents an 18.20% reduction for the 11-month period in 2022 as against the same period last year. Although road carnage and fatalities have significantly reduced, what measures are being instituted for safety compliance on the roads? Emmanuel Bright-Kweku gauges the mood at bus terminals in Kumasi ahead of the Yuletide.
Few days to the Christmas holidays, and most lorry stations in the regional capital Kumasi are already bustling. A horde of people are seen joining public and private transit to various destinations, many of them traveling for the festivities.
I'm just from Abuasi this morning. I'm break on job, so I'm going back to spend holidays with the family in Accra. It's been a while since I stayed away from them, but we are planning to travel together to a resort, maybe outside Accra, and have a nice time with them, because there's nothing like family.
In Ghana, most people travel during the festive seasons like Christmas and Easter to have a memorable family time. But at the heart of these travels is an uneasy instinct of arriving safe at their destinations.
If you cast your mind back in the records, a lot of people lose their life on roads, more than they lose their life by malaria or any deadly disease. During even the festive times like Christmas, we have a lot of people losing their lives so bitterly. And they will say, oh, we're going, but we will come back, but they never return.
Because of festive season, you just rush. Because of money, I'm going to throw them and then come back and throw them. Meanwhile, the road is not all that safe.
This definitely is not a sight or sound anybody would want to witness during such times. In the last 11 months, Ghana has recorded a significant reduction of 7.19% in its road traffic crashes against the same period in 2021. Ashanti region, as a hotbed of traffic accidents, is seeing a gradual decline in road fatalities. From a figure nearing 600 down to a little over 400, the numbers, despite being an improvement, is worrying.
Road traffic crash is very worrying. It is very, very worrying.
Simya Turedu is the Ashanti regional head of the National Road Safety Authority.
It is quite disturbing that somebody would, through no fault of theirs, would be engaged in a crash and then would be, incapacitated for quite a long time. And so crashes, damages, injuries and death in total is not good news at all.
Fodjo, a driver at the new planned VIP station at Asafo, saying a word of prayer for a safe travel as he and his passengers set off to Accra. Just after the prayers, he shares some safety tips with his passengers.
Sometimes
for many Ghanaian passengers, it's a mixed feeling on board a bus. While many are convinced of God's protection, others gird up their loins with their safety armor for the journey ahead.
So as currently you can see, I put on my seat belt, and then when you look inside the car, you can see that the seat belt is there, but most of the passengers are not putting it on. It's not advisable. There's a purpose for the seat belt. Even though God is there, God is protecting us, but we also have to put certain measures that we can use to protect ourselves.
But amidst the convictions, what are the instituted safety measures by the transport operators and the road safety authorities during the festive season? Francis Amo is the second trustee of the Asafo Neoplan VIP lorry station.
Your cars and the baby a car could be you skate you. Free north side, both side, the name, and if I say western side, you know. The passenger for only be there that's a inch ready. The woman who say will be Timoa, because who say gun will be a channel. Yana, Yakosre, a skitty agency for Norma, or Modia Maya, Yanomo Juma.
Apart from our radio engagements, we have collaborated with our stakeholder agencies. We are hitting the terminals to ensure that vehicles are in good conditions, and so we are going to we are engaging in pre-trip inspections on all the vehicles that are leaving the terminals to ensure that they are in good conditions before they leave the terminals. Our friend from the police MTTD have also put up some enforcement activities to ensure that our road regulations are complied with.
The various stakeholders are anticipating an accident-free season as people enjoy the festivities after a turbulent economic year. For JoyNews, Emmanuel reporting.
In Accra, my colleague Richard Kwejonyako visited the Neoplan station and reports that already the bus terminals are busy with passengers traveling to and from Accra to celebrate Christmas. Many have chosen to travel today because they want to avoid the hectic traffic congestions associated with traveling on the 24th of December. The passengers who spoke with my colleague Richard Kwejonyako say, with or without money, the season must be celebrated.
This is the VIP bus terminal. We are dozens of hours away from Christmas. As usual, the place is very, very busy. People are traveling to Accra to celebrate Christmas. Others are also leaving Accra to their various destinations. They tell me that usually they do their travels on the 24th. But now, because everyone is fixated on the 24th, they want to leave early to avoid the usual traffic that's on the way. A lot of them have been telling me that even though there is no money in their pockets, but once they have life, they must celebrate Christmas to the fullest. I've been interacting with them.
You know how the system is. Definitely, we will manage. With a few things that we have, we will actually manage with our families. That is why we want to go back and see them. Because tomorrow, 24th, definitely, as you see, getting car is a little bit difficult. So we are trying as much as possible to go back home and catch up with the family.
I'm Lodina.
So where are you traveling to?
I'm going to Sunyani. We're not expecting anything much, but at least the year has ended, and then we have to go and meet family members and then have some chit-chat with them and know what will happen the next year. So that's why we are going home. There's no money in the system, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't meet our family too. So we have to. Anyway that we have to get the money to go home, we have to go and then meet them and yeah.
Because share.
What
streets so it's scout.
Tell me where you are traveling to.
Okay, I'm from Dubai. I'm going to Sunyani. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you came because of this Christmas?
Yeah, I came because of Christmas.
Wow.
I want to come and visit my family and go back.
Actually, we came all the way from Kumasi to this place. Yeah, I came with my family. As you can see, they are right here with me. Yeah, we are here because of the Christmas. We're going to West Hills, Kaswa, yes, along Kaswa Road. Yeah, we'll be going there to have fun, which is on the 25th. Yes, so basically, and then right from that, we'll have some small family get-together in the house. Yeah, so basically, that's what we'll be doing. Yeah. There's no money, but what do we do? You live with it. You have no option. Would you say there's no money, so you not eat? Obviously, you eat, yes. So there's no money, like, yes. Everybody is, lamenting there's no money. Indeed, there's no money. But we still have to eat.
Oh, say I feel sweet, scanner dear, ye biddy. Ye dear, as I order a Jonathan, said the Abaya, also or Keska, or Kobe Emo.
It is not only about the celebration of Christmas that they are concerned about, but they also have concerns about road safety. In this period, the Yuletide period, a lot of accidents do occur, and they want to caution passengers, not only drivers, but passengers as well, to keep their eyes on the road to ensure that they get to their destinations safely. They have some pieces and snippets of advice for drivers and passengers.
They should be very careful with the course of their driving, because at this festive season, everybody wants to go and at least come back, and that is where the caution must actually comes in. So we expect that they will tread cautiously. They will actually be law-abiding citizens in the course of driving, so that all of us will be able to get back home safely.
I think this year, the accidents, we didn't hear much about it. So I think the drivers too are doing very well. And the passengers too are comporting themselves very good. So I think it's very good for this year. Yeah. Oh, I would say every driver should take care, drive safely, no overtaking, overspeeding, and anything that will cause any harm to any individual. Yeah.
During this time, what I would tell the drivers is to slow down, follow roadworthy, obey the instructions, obey the police, and obey the passengers. We will pass through.
They should pay attention to the traffic lights. When the traffic light, when there's deceptive in the traffic lights, they should try and then maneuver their way in a way that will not cause any accidents. Yes.
From the VIP bus terminal here at Circle, my name is Richard Kwejonya for JoyNews.
But how do passengers feel safe on these journeys? Here are some views from some terminals at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle.
It's very safe because now they're looking at the situation. The police are plenty in the town and because the visibility or whatever they are doing. And it depends on where you find yourself to, because and how your travels are. I don't have a problem because I'm always safe. I was in my car. Just I came to bank to do one transaction, and then I can see the town is very calm and the atmosphere is very conducive.
Where I am is okay, but in town is a problem, and because of that we hardly come to town. So just because I have to get a few things, I'm in town.
I'm not going to. I believe that I'm not going to have challenges, even though the place is risky anyhow. But then, because I had the security in mind that life is very precious.
The country is a peaceful one, and we're just praying to God that it will remain peaceful for everyone for this festive season.
Well, Christmas is a season of love, gift-giving and merrymaking, but it's not complete without the lights and sparkles of Christmas tree. Guess what? A young Ghanaian, Makafuye Wuku, is solving part of Ghana's plastic waste problems by turning plastic bottles into Christmas trees. Makafuye says the passion to save the environment is his motivation. There's more in this report.
Christmas is a season of gift-giving. It is a time many people decorate their houses with lights, and at the center of it all, erect Christmas trees. Christmas trees are elegantly decorated. The trees signify the evergreen life brought to humanity through the birth of Christ. That's not all, because some people also use the Christmas tree as a haven for hiding their Christmas gifts. Makafuye Wuku, CEO of Macintosh Africa, has been using plastic bottles to create Christmas trees. He explains the motivation behind his innovation.
Water, these are, and then climate action. These were the goals that appealed to me. Then I thought plastic pollution is a big problem in Ghana. Over the years, even though we've been doing a lot more, but we've not been able to actually create sustainable solutions to solve the problem. It was 2 months before Christmas. I was like, how about if I try a Christmas tree from bottles? So I did a sketch. I was working from somewhere. I was packing the bottles from the office, and then I got a welder to do a frame for me in the form of a tree. And then I went to investigate to find out what I can use to perforate holes in the bottles. I did a few experiments. I figured it out. And then I started weaving. In the morning before I go to work, I weave a bit. In the evening when I come back from work, I weave again. A day before Christmas, I had finished the tree. And then I went to Medina Market to buy lighting, to buy decor. And then I put it up. And then I put it in front of my house. I was living in a compound house in Medina Market. Then I decided to go from house to house to just invite the people from homes to come and experience the tree.
Currently, the foundation relies on the benevolence of volunteers for its work. Maud Ewenam Fuga manages volunteers at Macintosh Africa. She said her organization carefully selected students from various backgrounds who have a strong passion to save the climate and brought them together for this project.
We have quite a number of people. We are well over 200 on our WhatsApp platform. Yes. And we have our people based in and out of Accra. So we have people that are based in, even one of the volunteers here is coming from the eastern region. We have people that are based in Accra, Kumasi, whichever regions. So actually they will be coming today. It's just that we are not a lot this morning, but they'll come. And we have well over 30, 40 that actually weave one tree in a day. So
with assistance from volunteers, the foundation collects bottles from the streets, homes, hotels, and other public places. Edward Nyakwanochi is one excited volunteer who brings used plastic occasionally to help implement the plastic Christmas tree project.
When this company came around here, I came to consult them, and they told me their aim and their aspiration of making sure that the country is clean. So I started bringing the bottles here.
Maud then took us through the beautiful and creative process of weaving these bottles into this Christmas tree.
we actually do some beach cleanups with organizations like Plastic Punch. Sometimes too, it's our whole initiative or soul project where we go to some of the beaches like Mighty Beach at Nungwa to rescue and then to recover the plastic. So we do the sorting, and then that is where we now do the perforation of the bottles, and then we do the weaving of the tree. The tree, we sometimes use just 6 to 8 hours to weave a tree. Yes, maximum 20 to 30 people, we are good.
These trees beautify homes and offices and lit up the streets of Accra, but they are not cheap.
Because we are a startup and then we are creating innovations, we receive incubation and acceleration support from the UNDP here in Ghana, and then also through a World Bank and Netherlands government program called Ghana Climate Innovation Center that used to be at Aisha University. So this has helped us to be able to fine-tune our ideas, receive business and leadership training, and then access some proof of concept grants to continue to work on the project.
To make work more comfortable while cutting down cost, McAfee re-engineered his home into an office, which housed his workshops for shredding, manufacturing metal frames, and the weaving process. Apart from Christmas trees, McAfee also uses these plastics to manufacture shopping bags, mats, sandals, and other different artifacts.
So these are just colored plastic waste bags. You can see the green and the black. And this one is predominantly pure water sachet bags that have been used to make this footwear.
According to the World Economic Forum, Ghana produces over 840,000 tons of plastic waste every year, but only 9.5% are recycled. Every year, over 8 million tons of plastics are dumped into the ocean. So as you drink, do not drop the plastics around, because there are fears that by 2050, there will be more plastics in the ocean than fish. People like McAfee are determined to be innovative by turning plastic waste into creative, beautiful pieces and saving the environment. What are you doing to save the environment? James Kwesi Aveji's report for JoyNews.
Kwesi had a listening ear. He was always ready to work with others. He was very open-minded, and he knew when to be pragmatic. Those are the words of a former Minister of State, Kojo Yanka, describing the longest-serving finance minister, the late Professor Kwesi Botwe, as a down-to-earth person. Many Ghanaians Thursday converged on the forecourt of the State House to pay their last respect to the late Professor Kwesi Botwe. They included the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, his Vice, Dr. Baumia, and former President John Dramani Mahama and his vice during the 2020 presidential elections. Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman listened to lots of tributes that have been pouring in for the man who is believed to have impacted the lives of many.
When he unfortunately passed, we did some digging and spoke to a lot of his students and his colleagues, and 100% of them remembered him very fondly. They remembered his sharp intellect. They remembered the lasting impression on them in the lectures he delivered, especially in the areas of law and development and international trade law. On a personal note, Professor Butchie was a lecturer at the Kennedy School of Government.
Okay.
But when I did my master's at Harvard Law School, and he readily appointed me a research assistant to him. That was very useful because it's always good to have some extra dollars when you are struggling as a foreign student.
That's live on JoyNews today. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest coming from the world of business.
Hello, good afternoon. It's time for the business segment here on JoyNews today with me, Beverly Broom. Now, Ecospio Gabra has called for the creation of a price and income board to help stabilize prices of goods as the city makes gains. Speaking to Joy Business at the funeral of Ghana's longest-serving finance minister, Kwesi Botwe, Dr. Spio Gabra criticized the Bank of Ghana over the unstable exchange rate regime. He said the central bank should come clean with the current happenings in the market.
The former Trade and Industry Minister at the late Professor Kwesi Botwe's funeral rite bemoaned the consistent increase in public debt. He said authorities should act devoid of political affiliations.
You ask anybody who is trading in the financial markets, the truth is that the cedi, the real value of the cedi is how much it costs you to buy $1. And so the artificial differences that we are hearing, that you can get $1 for 8 cedis, 9 cedis, it's not possible. If you talk to people really changing money, it's more like bring 12 cedis, I'll give you $1. 12.50, I'll give you $1. So that is where the dollar's value really is, and therefore the cedi's own value too. So we should stop playing games and gymnastics with each other. People's lives are at stake. People are dying in hospitals because of their inability to pay their hospital bills. And all of us who are going to the marketplaces, our families and wives, our children, are struggling to buy food at normal prices. Almost all things the prices have increased exponentially. And there are countries which have stabilized their prices. So we used to have a price and incomes board or another kinds of price control institutions, both for rentals, for rentals and for prices. And I think it's time to bring back some of those institutions and learn what worked well with those institutions that are supposed to control or influence prices, and those what did not work so well. So we don't go and reinvent the wheel and bring back the bad aspects of those things.
Now, more than 100 exhibitors in Obuasi are participating in the 2022 edition of the Client Exhibition and Trade Show to promote Made in Ghana products. The trade show is expected to provide an interconnected avenue for small and medium enterprises to interact with one another, showcase their product, and foster partnerships. There's more in the following report.
Over 100 exhibitors based in the mining community are participating in the 5th edition of the trade show. The annual trade show is part of a 10-year socio-economic development plan launched by Anglo-Gold Ashanti to restore and revamp the Obuasi local economy. Exhibitors from diverse industries, including hairdressing, fashion designing, agro-processing, leather and shoemaking, displayed their products eagerly awaiting patronage. Emmanuel Bedu is Sustainability Manager at Anglo-Gold Ashanti Obuasi Mine.
The Obuasi Trade Show has been one of the flagship enterprise development activities of Anglo-Gold that consistently we have implemented. And the objective is to be able to create a platform, what we consider a one-stop shop, to bring entrepreneurs, people who have an entrepreneurial abilities, and then people who have the potential of accessing their services and their products. We create a platform where these entities can interact, and ultimately is to be able to drive sales. It is be able to showcase what people are doing in Obuasi, so that it will also help to drive that economy.
With the National Board for Small-Scale Industries and Obuasi Municipal and Obuasi East District Assemblies. Senior advisor at the Ashanti Regional Directorate of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Enoch Tizi, reiterated calls for patronage of Ghana-made goods.
Therefore, the Ministry of Trade and Industry is always elated to see trade shows of this kind that seeks to showcase the potential of manufacturers and artisans as we are seeing here today.
We have more business on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broom. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's do sports now on JoyNews today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. The agent of Felix Afinajan has said that the player will get back to his glory days after missing out on Ghana's final squad for this year's FIFA World Cup. Afinajan, who played an instrumental role in Ghana's qualification to the FIFA World Cup as well as the qualification series to the next edition of the African Cup of Nations, has lost a bit of form, and many have questioned his leadership for prioritizing money over the development of the player. But he says the decision they made to move him from AS Roma to Cremonese is the best.
2 goals to ultimately win a match for Roma. It was a mark that catapulted him into the senior national team of Ghana, the Black Stars, under then coach Otto Addo. Afinajan was instrumental in Ghana's World Cup qualification and AFCON qualifiers against Madagascar and Central African Republic.
Gideon Mensah's ball in, and there's a second goal. It's a debut goal for Felix Afinajan.
A boy living his dream. Then things changed. His move to Cremonese in the summer has not been fruitful. From failing to compete for a starting spot to being dropped from Ghana's 26-man squad for the 2022 World Cup, raising criticisms from various pundits, with many accusing his representatives of chasing money. His agent explains what necessitated the move.
Mourinho gave Afinajan opportunities for a purpose, for some reasons, okay? And then after Roma's system or Roman's philosophy for the next season, the following season changed. It wasn't the same. You saw that Roma brought in Belotti. You saw that Roma brought, Roma tried to all the big Dybala, brought in Dybala. So the philosophy changed. Okay, so it wasn't time for the Afinajan. But Afinajan is young. He still has a lot of time. He still has a lot of opportunity. So go back to Cremona, play, and then get in up there. He can go back to Roma, he can go back to AC Milan, he can go to all the big to be ready to play. Unfortunately, we went to Cremona and things did not go the way we planned it.
Since his departure to the newly promoted Serie A side, Afinajan has played 8 times in all competitions and netted 1 goal. There is a huge concern about the future of the forward after such a good start to his footballing career. But deep within his camp, there is no cause for alarm.
For me, I still believe in that move. I don't think that it was a wrong move. Okay, it was just that things did not go as planned because of other issues that I might not be able to say here.
From football, let's do Winter Olympics, and Ghanaian Winter Olympian Akwese Frimpong says that he's not had an opportunity of speaking to the Minister of Youth and Sports despite winning a medal just last week. According to him, the country does not value his efforts into developing the sport in the country.
As of now, since I've started the sport, there hasn't been specifically any support from the government itself. When I say that, I mean that I I've never received any support from the Ministry of Sports, for example, or from any of that area. I've always, tried to do it all through sponsorship, 100%. I have been a recipient from the IOC Olympic Scholarship, which was in support of the Ghana Olympic Committee, who signed it off, who helped me get that. So 3 years before the Olympic Games, you get a little support to be able to train. Unfortunately, it's a great opportunity. It's very helpful because every little thing helps, but it doesn't cut what you need for budget-wise to be able to hire some of the best coaching and to be able to compete against the big nations. So that has always been a struggle. I know that there's a lot of other athletes that also need support, need help, but I've always trying to push it through sponsorships. And eventually that becomes tough, right? When you're representing a nation and when you are trying to put your country on the map, these sponsors, they're also looking at that as well. For example, some of the sponsorship I had from the Netherlands, they feel like you're not really doing much for the Netherlands right now. And so for them, it becomes a little bit of a tricky thing of a market value where they feel like, the market is more in Africa, the market is more in Ghana, rather than, the market being the Netherlands for them as an individual representing Ghana. I hope that there's value in what I'm doing. I hope that he has seen what I have done, how I'm representing Ghana. I've never talked to the Minister of Sport before in my life from Ghana. I know of him, but I've never talked to him personally. Never has that been a message towards me after winning a bronze medal last week for Ghana on the winter sport, the very first time ever. All the fact that I just became the first African ever in history to have a podium finish on the World Championship in winter sport of all Africa out of 1.4 billion people. And I've, up to the day of today, never heard of the Minister of Sport. So to me, I don't know why, but maybe I'm not worth it, and maybe I'm not delivering any value to them.
That's your sports now, but we do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. Up next is World News.
Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. And our rapper Black Sherif held his first concert, the Mozama Disco, at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, with hundreds of fans in attendance. The Soldier hitmaker was later joined by rapper Sarkodie to perform their hit song, Countryside.
To do what I don't have to. So guide me, oh Lord, and protect me, oh God. Then I've been trying to give my food. Say it's up to you. You have to be the food. I say the food for who my food. You never see a bad man roll. I'm gonna run my face, I'm gonna keep my pace. Cause I really am the one to blame when I fall again. I can't stand this pain, I can't watch me fail. So anytime you pray, remember.
Now, Dancehall act Stonebwoy says all is ready for his BIM concert this evening at the Grand Arena. In an interview with Andy Dusty, Stone says the event is part of keeping entertainment alive.
I go hard, cause them girl ya mad me. She squeeze me, she hug me, she grab me ready away.
Well, super ready, you know the vibes, like, it's important for me to always, put energy, sweat and resources to this because, I am a man of action, I believe. So, when we're representing for a genre like reggae and dancehall, and I'm the Afro dancehall king, globally, authenticated, certified, I'm not that because I say that, I'm that because I do that. You know what I mean? So, when we're here today and you see Busy Signal, last year you saw Beanie Man, it tells you something that we're keeping the entertainment alive, we're keeping what we love alive, isn't it? Reggae now can't dead, you know, dancehall can't dead. Same way Afrobeat anyway, you know what I mean? So I'm just representing for what I love, and tomorrow I know a lot of people love what I love, and we love what we love anyway. So
now, legendary musician Kojo, also known as Mr. Music Man, has revealed that plans are underway to change his name as part of rebranding. In an interview on Prime Morning, the musician indicated that his name, Kojo, might be changed next year for reasons he prefers to keep private.
If the parents really they know what they want. My father was good. He was a teacher at a certain point,
okay,
but he was very keen on pursuing education. I wanted the education, all right,
okay,
but somehow I'm happy at what I've become.
We are happy at what you've become, because when we mention Kojo, there's only one Kojo.
Okay.
And you are a legend.
Thank you.
You know that, right?
Not yet.
Really?
I'm still working at it. The legend thing is good, but when they give you the title, the legend, it's like, it sounds like you've arrived, you've done everything. There's nothing else for you to do. Next year we will be pursuing something else. There's a change of name coming.
Your name is changing?
There's a whole lot that is coming. I'll talk about it.
Well, on that note, we end showbiz here on Joy News today. There's more showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Aisha,
thank you for bringing us showbiz. But I'm wondering why Kojo will change his name. Yeah. Well, we'll find out. That's how we wrap up the bulletin. And for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. You get updates of all the developing stories. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.